We are back. Another episode of the Zero Powerlifting Podcast, proudly sponsored by Establishment Coffee Co. Head to establishmentcoffee.com.au. Use the code ZERO25 for 25% off and free shipping. Right. Today, I want to talk about the idea of finding your why. I want to talk about this because I feel like it's a super cliche topic that actually has a whole bunch of merit to it if you do it right. And so this idea of finding your why, can apply to business, can apply to hobbies, can apply to, your sport, powerlifting, whatever it is. When we start to, get away from just the general cliche, why do you do this kind of thing for the sake of, just formulating an answer to answer the question and actually get introspective and think about it, it is actually a really important part of what drives us forward. And there's two things to understand is, A, what is your why in the grand scheme of things in terms of like what's actually motivating you to do what you do? But B, also understanding that your why is almost always going to change as time goes on, and being able to recognize when it changes and how it affects the process, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, the idea of finding your why or talking about your why is really just a chat about goals. We've got a goal, we've got an objective, and then we've got a series of processes and milestones on the way to that goal. And really the goal is so much less important than the actual process of achieving that goal, and there's a lot of value to be found in that process. So when it comes to finding your why, there's a lot of things that happen in life in general that we have the objective of the goal for, or the objective or the goal for, that creates this emotional attachment that is so strong, that is so powerful, that it overcomes any negative part of the process or any arduous or tedious part of the process. So really simple analogy that I like to draw on is like learning to walk, learning to read, learning to operate your phone. If you are able to listen to this podcast right now, you have developed a series of skills based on doing the same thing over and over and failing the same thing over and over to the point where you were successful. You were able to fall over 2,000 times, get back up and learn how to walk. You were able to switch from a Nokia 3315 and tap out your text messages to using a smartphone and keep up with the technological changes that happened, despite there being a bit of a tedious process to that, because you were so emotionally invested in the outcome. Because you were invested in that outcome, the actual process of it doesn't matter. That's how we're able to have a job that in all aspects we may hate. You may hate driving to your office, sitting behind a computer for 10 hours a day, going home. You may hate that, but the objective of making money to survive, making money to support the kind of lifestyle that you want, that's enough of an emotional attachment, an emotional objective to keep you doing that tedious, arduous task. Same thing can be said for lifting. You want to get stronger, you want to get bigger, you want to get better. So you're willing to sit there and just do the work over and over and over and over, even though it's boring, even though it's monotonous, even though it's repetitive, even though sometimes it hurts, even though sometimes you fail, you're willing to go back and just do it over and over again. So the important part of understanding your why is understanding that emotional connection to whatever the objective is. And if the why is not true, if you're telling yourself a story as to why you're doing something and it's not true, then when the process gets really hard, there's no driving force for you to overcome that. It makes it easy to quit. And we grow up in a society that makes it easy to quit. It's easy to change objective. It's easy to change hobby. It's easy to change job. It's easy to shift gears and move on to another thing. It's just, we've got options these days. So inherently we have a easy to quit mindset. How are we going to get over that is to find what really drives us. And it's a hard question to answer. I can't answer that question for you. When you ask yourself, why do I actually want to get stronger? Why do I actually like the sport of powerlifting? Why do I want to be a strong man? Why do I want to be a strong woman? Why do I want to pursue coaching as a career? Why do I want to open another gym? When you ask yourself these questions, you're going to manufacture an answer that answers the question immediately. If I ask you, why do you want to get stronger? Because I like being strong. Because I enjoy training. That's not enough, because there's going to be aspects of your training life that becomes so arduous or tedious or monotonous, or something happens to the point where you have to make the decision, do I keep doing this or do I not? And if the emotional connection to the objective is not strong enough, you will quit. You will stop. You may only stop for a short period of time, but it makes it easier to stop. So you have to get introspective and find out, why are you really doing what you're doing? If you can do that, it's going to give you so much more value to the actual process. It's going to make you work harder. It's going to give you more incentive to do the things that you don't want to do, but you know you need to do. This is so true of lifting, and you're so good at it in lifting because you do have a true emotional connection to it. When it's something else, when it's your job, when it's your career, when it's coaching, when it's business, it makes it so much harder sometimes. So getting introspective and asking yourself this question might take you down a road you didn't know was there. And again, I can't answer this question for you. I don't know why people lift. Maybe it is to be stronger, but then it's like, why do you want to be stronger? What does it represent? Does it represent some massive childhood trauma where you were always told that you are weak and you have to show yourself that you're not weak? So you have this vendetta against this narrative that you have in your head. That might be something like that. It might be something more simple. I don't know, but you have to get introspective about what your why is. It's a healthy exercise to do to preempt what happens when things get rough, when things get hard. It's not necessarily about forcing yourself to come up with an answer, but it's about knowing that everything that we do has an emotional driving force. And if we're aware of what it is, we know when it changes. If we are aware of what it is, it gives us more power to overcome bumps in the process, bumps in the road. If we're aware of it, we can spit that narrative out and have it exposed, so that we can address whatever issues we've got with the process or with the objective, with the outcome. We can understand the fluidity of what we're doing in terms of our objective changing. That becomes an extremely powerful tool. To use a personal example, I think of my journey through business, through ZeroW. Started as PTC Gold Coast, one-man show, ran the gym, did all the online coaching, did everything that happened as a process under this brand. And as a result, the company kind of existed. Yes, it existed to serve the customer, but it was also serving me. It was paying my bills, it was feeding me, it was feeding back into itself so the business could get bigger. And as the business has changed and grown and evolved, and now we've got 4 gyms. By this time next month, we're going to have 4 gyms with a 5th on the way. We've got 12 staff, soon to be more than that. The gym or the business is much bigger than me, and the self-serving idea of my role in the business is now long gone. And I'm left with this question: why am I doing what I do? Why am I continuing to grow this business? What is my purpose with this? And I've had to adjust to the fact that in the past, the growth of the business was centered around my world, which is creating some sort of financial freedom. That's now long gone. Now the growth of the business is centered around my desire to help people. So to grow the business to service more customers, to grow the business to provide more opportunities in terms of employing people, that's where I find true joy. And now that I've discovered that, it's allowed me to adjust to the change in my role. When the role before was serving myself, there was a lot of motivation to just work, to just do everything to grow the business because it was serving something that I wanted. Now it's serving other people, and I've recognized the change in that role. It's really given the motivation for me to do the processes involved in my role that have changed that I really don't want to do. There's a lot more admin stuff. There's a lot more just meetings and talking to people and not doing coaching, not doing the stuff that I got into this for. Now that I've changed my role, I'm not a coach as much as I was anymore. I'm more of a mentor and a business owner. I've had to find the new emotional attachment to my why, so it gives me the drive to do the tasks I need to do to make sure my staff are looked after, to make sure the business continues to grow, to make sure the customers are satisfied. That's an insight into how I've had to think about this in my own business. And I've had examples of this in my training too, but I won't bore you with that. What I'm saying is, if you can find that why, if you can find what it means to you on a deep, emotional, introspective level, it's going to help you so much in not only appreciating the process, but getting better at it and getting to your result faster. Hope that helped. If you have any questions on anything to do with training, lifting, nutrition, mentoring, hit us up. We're always here to help. Get get ready for some big changes to the Zero podcast. It's going to be a lot different this year, and I'm really excited to having everyone else come on board and doing longer episodes, having a louder voice, having more discussion, having guests. Things are going to look different in 2022. So keep an eye on our social media. Keep following us. We love it, and we'll catch you next time.